안녕하십니까.
Hello, I'm Dr. Kim Kyung-won of Dr. Step Easy Hands-On. Today I'm going to talk to you about OneCAS Kit. OneCAS Kit is digital guided sinus surgery system. And CAS drill has been modified so that through crystal approach you can do sinus surgery, and at the same time digital guide system, OneGuide system can be used for your procedure with this kit. So these are the characteristics of OneCAS kit. First, as was explained in the OneGuide system, you use computer for virtual surgical planning, and with that you can adjust the precise location, direction, depth of fixture, and at the same time you can do crystal approach sinus lift surgery. And with this system that is possible. And second characteristic is that CAS kit is applied to OneGuide system, and which is result is CAS drill, and without damaging the sinus membrane, you can do crystal approach sinus surgery with this kit. What is improved in this kit is that in the past, with the OneGuide system, when you use crystal approach, once the position of the implant is fixed, then you had to remove the OneGuide template for hydraulic pressure lift. But we modified the tool for elevation and bone grafting so that the hydraulic pressure lift can be done without removing OneGuide template. So this is the basic concept of OneCAS kit, same as the OneGuide system. So the blue, his guide hole size is 5.1 and guide barrel is 5.0. And on the right, the white type has guide hole 5.8 diameter and also guide barrel 5.7. And as in OneGuide system, in case of white type, the drill itself is coated in gold so it can be distinguished easily. So these are the components of the OneCAS kit. First, you have the drilling tool. In OneCAS kit, initial drill will be 2.2 twist drill. So this twist drill comes in 7 and 10 millimeters in length. And basically, in initial drill, as same with the crystal approach using CAS system, you go 1 millimeter under drilling of the bone height, remaining bone height. So if the remaining bone height 5 millimeters, then 4 millimeter will be the initial drilling. And if the residual bone height is more than 7 millimeters, and to use this OneCAS drill, you might think you can immediately go for 10 millimeter drill, but that's not the case. As you use a short drill in the OneGuide system, here also you start with the twist drill of 7 millimeter length. That is how you do initial drill. Then you use longer 10 millimeter length as the second step. This, as in OneGuide system, after short drilling, to realize double contact system, the tip touching the bone and the upper barrel touching the template. So double contact concept to be available, basically even if the 7 millimeter of the bone is available, you go with 7 millimeter first and then 10 millimeter length drill. Only then with the double contact concept can you enjoy accurate and stable drilling without any trembling. So I hope that you will be mindful of this fact. Next is flattening drill, and this is same as OneGuide system flattening drill. So narrow ridge or sloped ridge exists in the bone. You can use this drill for flattening. Next is most important, OneCAS drill. OneCAS drill is using crystal approach to penetrate sinus floor. You use this drill, and the basic concept of drill is same as CAS drill. So you have the round edge, and on top of that inverted cone shape of bone lid. So you prevent the damage on sinus membrane and penetrate sinus floor. So it's the same concept as cast drill, but after that, you have the barrel fitting the one guide template system. So that is this drill. So the length of the drill also, you have 7 and 10. And based on the guide hole size, you have the wide and narrow size of the barrel. And the stopper is something you need to be careful. In OneCAS kit, stopper numbers indicate the actual length of stopper. So 7mm OneCAS drill, mount 4mm stopper, then 7 minus 4, drilling will be 3mm. You might be a bit confused about this because basically in CAS kit, the stopper length, like 4mm stopper is used, then CAS drill is 4mm of drilling. But in OneCAS drill, that's not the case. In OneCAS drill, 7mm with 4mm stopper means 4mm is the stopper's length. Drilling is only up to 3mm. So basically, the initial drill, if it's 4mm residual bone, then you drill up to 3mm, and with OneCAS drill 7mm, with the 3mm stopper, you drill 4mm, and you widen it more. So up to final drill side, you widen. And after that, gradually you advance. So with 3mm stopper, you drill 4mm, and with the 2mm stopper, you drill up to 4mm. So this part, I think compared to CAS kit, it's a bit different. So I hope that you will take extra care of stopper so you will not be confused in your procedure. So like this, the stopper. The length, if it's 3mm, then the blue, you use 7mm drill, so drilling is up to 4mm, and the red indicates if you use 10mm drill, and with this 3mm stopper, then 10 minus 3, the drilling will be 7mm. Depth gauge. Depth gauge is a device to measure the residual bone depth, and this is also to detect the sinus membrane. So see, the sinus membrane is perforated to check that, but 0.6 millimeter protrusion is here. So please be mindful in using this. So basically, depth gauge mounted stopper is the base will be the same height as the one stopper used for the 10mm. Next is the hydraulic membrane lifter. And this one, when you use one guide system, after drilling, you remove the template and then do the hydraulic pressure elevation. But here, we have the barrel for regular hole and wide hole, and on the silicone tip, we have wing. So that without removing one guide template, you can do OneCAS drill and penetrate sinus floor, and then you can use hydraulic pressure to elevate the membrane. So one guide template, while still it's in place, hydraulic pressure can be lifted, and how you do lifting is same as in CAS. So basically, you use this 3 cc syringe, and saline, you infuse 0.5 and then aspire. So step by step, gradually, if you do elevation, then sinus membrane can be more safely, like casket, drilled for elevation. Next is bone carrier and bone carrier head. And bone carrier head also, in one guide system, while template is still in place, bone grafting can be done. So the carrier tip, same as casket, but we also matched the barrel sides on top of that. So while the one guide template is in place, you can graft bone. Next is bone condenser, and bone condenser is same as the casket. Diameter 1.1 and 1.4 is available. 1.1 is for easy condensation without blockage. So for ease of bone grafting, and 1.4 is to improve condensation performance. OneCAS kits surgical procedures, and this is the sequence that we recommend. So compared to residual bone height, you should need to do 1 millimeter under, and you use this 2.2 twist drill as initial drill. So again, minus 1 millimeter of under drilling compared to residual bone height. And then you get the final fixture matching final drill. You widen up to that level, and until the widen is fully done to be 1 minus 1 millimeter, then you go to the penetration stage. Step by step, you advance the drilling. And this one, as I before, unlike casket, it means lowering the stopper sides. That is how you extend the drill length. I'll explain more with the next sequence. For example, TS3 4.5 10 millimeter fixture placement, and residual bone height is 5 millimeter, and assume it's a soft bone. Then in such case, one guide template is in place, and with tissue punch, you remove soft tissue, and initial drill, as I explained before, 2.2 two-twist drill 7 millimeter needs to be used, and residual height is 5 millimeter, and minus 1 millimeter is 4 millimeter drilling is needed. So that means 7 millimeter length drill needs to have 3 millimeter stopper mounted. Then 7 minus 3, 4 millimeter drilling will be possible. So with that, you drill up to 4 millimeter, and next OneCAS drill 2.8, 3.3. So again, same 7 millimeter length drill with this 3 millimeter mount. So you widen up to minus 1 millimeter is done. Then to penetrate sinus floor, as next step, again 3.3, OneCAS drill. Stopper size, we go 1 down to 2 millimeters. Then that means you can do 5 millimeter drilling. So you go to the penetration stage with that, and after 5 millimeter drilling, if to check whether it's fully penetrated to the sinus floor, you use depth gauge, and depth gauge, it's based on 10 millimeter drill. So we drilled 5 millimeters. The depth gauge stopper needs 5 millimeters, so 10 minus 5, then 5.6 protruded depth gauge will be the result. So it's not fully penetrated, so the depth gauge is not fully touching the template. There will be a gap of 0.6, and in the same diameter stopper, you go again further 1 down. Then OneCAS drill will be 6 millimeters in length. So sinus floor will be penetrated, and if it's fully penetrated, then again depth gauge, it's based on 10 millimeters, and you use 4 millimeter stopper. Then you check that's fully penetrated with 6 millimeters. Then you go with the hydraulic membrane elevation. In OneCAS, template needs to be removed. In the past, one guide system, you need to remove the template. But here, if you match the barrel size and hole size, then the tip has on the silicone side wing. So while the one guide template is there, you can do elevation, and bone grafting can be performed while the template is there. And then you install the fixture, and that will be the OneCAS kit's drilling sequence. Same here. If 5.0 and 10 mm fixture is placed and residual bone height is 4 mm, again, same sequence, tissue punching, then residual bone height is 4. So to drill 3 mm, initial drill needs to be the wide version. And to drill 3 mm, stopper needs to be 4 mm. Then you can drill up to 3 mm. And as widening stage, you use 2.8 and 3.8 OneCAS drill. Again, same 4 mm stopper. Then in the penetration stage, 3.8 OneCAS drill stopper won't go down. 3 mm stopper is mounted. Then you drill 4 mm and depth gauge. It's based on 10 mm, so you mount 6 mm stopper. And then you drill again with 3.8 OneCAS drill. 2 mm stopper is mounted. Then 5 mm will be the drilling length. And after that, depth gauge. 5 mm stopper mounted depth gauge. And after that, hydraulic membrane elevation and bone grafting. And then you install the fixture. So let's go on to the hands-on practice with OneCAS kit. The model shows missing on 25 and 26. So one guide template will be mounted first. So you position the template, and after that, as you can see, the teeth exposed area is used to check whether the template is in the right place. That's important to check. Then, using tissue punch, first, small barrel tissue punch will be used to remove the upper gingiva. In number 25, tissue punching. Okay, it's done. We'll remove template to check whether all the tissue has been removed. And as you can see, it's fully removed. And again, you put in the template. 2.2 twist drill, 7 mm in length, will be used for initial drilling. So, like this. So currently, number 25 residual bone height is 5 mm. So we go 1 mm under, meaning we need 4 mm drilling. So OneCAS drill, small barrel, 3 mm stopper will be what's used. So 2.2 twist drill, initial drill, 7 mm length drill is used, and on top of that we mount 3 mm stopper. That means when you use in the one guide template drilling, the 7 mm drill changes to 4 mm drill, and you can drill up to 4 mm. So you can see it's in the right position. And initial drilling diameter up to 4 mm. Next, OneCAS drill, 2.8 diameter, length 7 mm will be used. And diameter 2.8, 7 mm length, and 3 mm stopper. And again, OneCAS drill can drill up to 4 mm. So 3 mm stopper is mounted to drill up to 4 mm. So to place 4.5 implant and it's upper, so let's say it's soft bone, and now we need to widen. It's a widening stage, so final drill up to 3.3 will do the drilling. So diameter 3.3, OneCAS drill is mounted, and again here 3mm stopper will be attached. Then again drilling depth will be 4mm. Now 3.3 is the final drill, so we will not change OneCAS drill, but change stopper to 2mm, so go one under. That means we'll have longer drilling length. So as you can see, 7mm OneCAS drill, 3.3 diameter, we mount 2mm stopper, then drill length will be extended by 1mm to 5mm. Next, the sinus floor. To check whether it's penetrated, we will use depth gauge. Unlike other depth gauge, we need to fit it to OneCAS template. So matching to the template hole side, the gauge comes in two sides. It's 25 teeth, so we will use a thinner depth gauge. And 7mm, we use a 2mm stopper. Drilled up to 5mm, so the base is 10mm, so the stopper needs to be used that is in 5mm, and there is 0.6 protrusion, so you need to all calculate this in choosing the right sizes. So it's 5.6mm, so 5mm stopper and sinus floor is not fully penetrated. Stopper does not go fully in, so we need one up this one. This means 3.3 diameter, 7m in length, OneCAS drill has 1mm advancement in stopper, so we use 1mm stopper. So 7mm drill will change to 6mm drill. So this is what I use to drill. Then I can drill up to 6mm. So again, we drilled up to 6mm, and as you can see of the stoppers, the 10mm is base and 4mm stopper is used. Then depth gauge will go into up to 6mm. So again, we will attach 4mm stopper here. So 0.6 added, so up to 6.6mm depth will be possible. So the stopper goes in, and we can check that sinus floor is penetrated. There is one guided template here, so it's tricky for detection, but we have confirmed that there is a full penetration. And next I'll do the hydraulic pressure elevation, and this tool, the tip has changed to a new design. So this lifter has now two barrels, regular hole. You can match that for drilling. So as you can see, this lifter, the silicone you push in fully, then the barrel size can match to the hole size. 5.1, it matches. So this lifter, using mosquito, other appliances, give pressure, and saline is infused and I'll perform the hydraulic pressure elevation. So you infuse and you also take some out again. Infusion, aspiration, so gradually, step by step, and I'll do the elevation. And this model shows how it looks inside. So I checked that the elevation was done successfully, and then I'll put in the bone graft material, and this comes in this type bone carrier that matches to the regular HER 5.5. So again, check that it's exactly, and fix it, and put the bone graft material in there and do the bone grafting. So again, 1.1 narrow bone condenser you can put in without any blockage, but if you want to have more efficient or quick performance, then 1.4 can be used. So if you feel blockage, then you can use thinner one for this. And number 25, you see there the bone grafting is performed. So that stage is complete. And for fixture placement, we will to place this fixture, no mount driver will be used with this side. No mount driver fixture is mounted. Again, you check whether it's in the correct mode, and I'll place the implant. As you can see, so with the no mount driver, about 80%. You place the fixture and you check with the yellow mark and you remove it. And next, you use the fixture driver for hand wrench and use it like this. Again, 80%. You go fully in, and as you can see, you check with the yellow marking and make sure that it's in the right position, and you control the depth, and you can check the fixture is in place. Next, number 26, implant will be placed. As you can see, number 26, we will use 5.0 diameter, this type of fixture, so it's a wide hole. So 4.0 tissue punch will be used. And in the drilling mode with the tissue punch, gingiva has been removed. And as you can see, gingiva has been removed, but you can also remove stent to check. And you see tissue punching is done. And again, template is mounted. Initial drill 2.27 millimeters will be used. So as you can see, number 26 in the model, 4 millimeter of residual bone is left, which means you need to drill up to 3 millimeters to go 1 millimeter under. And for that, 4 millimeter stopper will be mounted. So drill length will be 3 millimeters. So we use 4 millimeter stopper. And then means in OneCAS drill, you can drill up to 3 millimeters. So residual bone is 4 millimeters. To be 1 millimeter under, you drill up to 3 millimeters. So like this, you drill up to 3 millimeters. Next, you opt for OneCAS drill. So diameter 2.8, 7mm drill will be used first, and there 4mm stopper will be mounted. This means you can drill up to 3mm. So with OneCAS drill, you drill up to 3mm. And next, this is wide type, so 3.8 diameter OneCAS drill will be used. Length 7mm. First, like before, 4mm stopper will be mounted. And as you can see, after mounting the stopper, you can drill up to 3mm. And residual bone height is 4mm in this model, and you drill up to 3mm, and final drill is 3.8, and you completed the widening step. And next, you use the same drill and you advance by 1mm to penetrate sinus floor. So 4mm stopper was used, and if you use 3mm stopper, you can drill up to 4mm. So we use 3mm stopper, and this means, as I said, OneCAS drill, you can drill up to 4mm. Yes, 4mm of drilling. And to check whether the sinus floor penetration, you use depth gauge. As I explained, depth gauge has two barrels. Wide barrel is used here, and 6mm stopper is mounted here on the wide depth gauge. And here you drilled up to 4mm. Residual bone height is 4mm. By sinus floor and residual bone height, there is slope, so stopper is not fully goes in. So sinus floor is not fully penetrated, in other words. So to full penetration, we add 1mm more. So you, from here, as a next step, you use 2mm stopper. So we switch from the past one to this one. That means the drill will be 5mm in length. So you can drill up to 5mm. So you see that it's penetrate to the sinus floor. Now 5mm stopper will be mounted. Then depth gauge will be up to 5mm, and 5.6mm will be the length of sinus floor. Sinus floor is fully penetrated, so depth gauge goes to the stopper. So sinus floor then means it's fully penetrated. Now again, hydraulic membrane elevation. And for this hydraulic lifter itself, you have narrow and wide barrel. Now we opt for wide barrel, and this wide barrel lifter tool, we mount it on the template, and with the barrel, you see this tool is fixed, and to put pressure like this, mosquito and other appliances tool is used to put it in place and fix it in place. And this tool, the saline is 2.5 cc available, but by step you infuse and you aspire, infuse, aspire, step by step. And without a penetration membrane, you can check negative pressure is the result of the aspiration. This means with this you can check the status. So here you can see the membrane being elevated. Now I have bone carrier, and bone carrier or wide barrel, it's diameter 3.8, and I'll do the adaptation with this. So with this material, I'll do the bone grafting. And one guide template is still in place while doing bone grafting. So you need to use the bone carrier that matches to the hole size and barrel size. Next, no mount driver is used. Wide barrel no mount driver will be used. And TS3, again, no mount fixture will be used. Number 26. So 80% with engine you drill, and fixed driver wide barrel will be used. And the fixture, position it to the marked position and push it in. And as you can see, the yellow mark area is for checking, and you match to the slot, and you can check the implant has gotten into the place you want. And this one is without implant, and this has implant in it. And as you can see, bone graft material is there, and bone grafting is done. So like this, graft material is there, grafting is complete, and implant is in place, and sinus floor is nicely elevated. And with that, implant placement is complete, and I will remove this template, and healing abutment will be placed. And with that, implant placement is complete. Now let's answer some questions. Let's see what kind of questions have been posted. Now we have this question. Anything to watch out for when you don't remove one guide template in the hydraulic membrane elevation? When you use OneCAS kit, the membrane elevation, and then when you place implant, one guide template was first removed before performing such elevation. But with this new improved or renovated kit, while the one guide template is still there, you can do elevation as well as the bone grafting. So you improve the kit itself. But one thing you need to be mindful is when you do the elevation, the silicone part, we have the wing on the tip. So in the invisible area on the inside of the temple, when you do elevation, the saline leakage or other thing can be prevented with the wing. And on top of silicone, the barrel area matches the hole of the template, 5.1 and 5.8 per barrel size. There are two types for elevation. So when the area that you do procedure, depending on the fixture side, depending on the template hole size, opt for the right barrel size. And when you also do bone grafting, bone carriers hole size needs to be matched to the barrel. So we have the wide and normal barrels, and if you watch out for that, there will be no problem. But again, template is in place, meaning inside might be not very visible. So you need to be mindful of your hand touch, which means maybe you need to be more experienced to feel with your hand. Next question. When do you use OneCAS 10mm drill? So as I mentioned in my lecture, what we did in the hands-on practice is we have 4mm and 4mm of residual bone. So with the 7mm drill and 1mm stopper, drill length is 6mm. So sinus floor is fully penetrated. So we didn't have to use 10mm drill. But if the residual bone height is more than 7mm, or the bone height is about 6mm, but on the upper side there's a slope, or there's a sloped bone, so despite 6-meter drilling, there's no full penetration, then 10-meter drill can be used for full penetration. But as I said before, even if you need to use 10-millimeter drill, first step needs to start with 7-millimeter drill first, so the double contact concept can be realized. So there should be full contact with bone and other things for more stable and secure procedure without trembling. So again, even if you need to use 10mm, you need to start with 7mm drill first. That is our recommendation. So if the residual bone height is high and there's therefore no full penetration, even with the 6mm drill using a 1mm stopper, there's no full penetration. Still use 7 first and then 10 as the next step. So with all the lecture and hands-on, I told you about OneCAS kit, and I hope through this lecture and hands-on practice, you have learned more about OneCAS kit, and I'd like to end the lecture here. Thank you for your attention.
감사합니다.